Yeah, my name is Lynn. So the tools I use to support my well-being is exercise, trying to make sure I do that regularly, because I find exercise is kind of like meditation for me, because it's a place where I go and I do my thing but I don't think too much, and it's really nice to have that space where you're actively doing something but you're also sort of not in your own head. And also the endorphins from exercise is really healthy. I also make sure that I go outside a lot, get a lot of fresh air, and just move around. Yeah, those are the main things I would say. I think what makes me feel connected to others is spending quality time together, doing things like cooking or just going out for different events, or just hanging out and talking through things. I think it's very important for me to be able to talk openly about a lot of things like mental health in order to feel like truly connected and like in a community with people. So. I think it's really important to express yourself and how you're feeling for lots of different reasons, but I think one of them is that if you don't express how you're feeling and you don't know that anyone else feels the same, you can feel very lonely, it can feel very isolating. Whereas a lot of the time I think you find that when you actually talk to people, you realise there's so many other people who have the same thoughts, the same questions, the same, you know, cycles of thinking and things like that. And I think it's not until you voice that you realise that there's a whole community out there that have the similar experiences, similar thoughts, and talking about it back and forth with people who've experienced it as well, it can really help you manage those feelings and thoughts yourself. I think in general, like with the pandemic, it's been hard to, especially for young people, I think, who've, you know, you lost a lot of connections during the pandemic with sort of school or university, or some people obviously weren't working through the pandemic, and I think that can have created sort of a sense of like, now that things are opening up, it's still quite hard to sort of remember almost how we used to interact with each other, or maybe you've never had that properly because you're just coming of age now, sort of thing. Yeah, I think it's been really interesting to listen to like the panel discussions and to be part of the workshops and hearing what young people think, and I think it's always really helpful to have these kind of conversations, and I think it's really helpful for older people to be there too, to like see what is on the forefront of young people's minds and to learn from them, because I think there was a really important and interesting point made in one of the discussions earlier today where they were talking about people pointing out that you're young, or I'm learning something from a young person. And I completely agree with them that that's not it kind of comes out as a backhanded compliment, because like as if you wouldn't be able to learn something from a young person. Whereas in fact, I think especially older people can learn so much from younger people, because you know, we are constantly evolving and changing, and the way that young people are growing up is very different to how, you know, I mean, there's a massive difference between, I'm 28, and me and Gen Z, like an 18-year-old now, there's a lot of differences in how we've grown up. Like, I didn't grow up with social media, and that came like in my late teens. So there's a massive difference, and I think the younger generation in general is so much more aware, so much more in tune with a lot of societal like nuances, and also in general I feel like the younger generation is really keen on like listening to each other and understanding each other, and I think that's something that the older generation really can learn from the younger people about sort of what kind of language to use, how to be inclusive, and how to, you know, show respect, and that you really are listening to people's opinion, and not just because they're young, but because they have a very valid opinion on how everything should work or could work better.